In today's episode, I'm taking a look at 3 perfumes from the Amor Amor range by Cacharel. And it's been 20 years since the first launch of this original version back in 2003. And since then, we've had countless amounts of flankers and special editions that have come and gone, and some are now fetching up to 5 times their original purchase price since going discontinued. So it's maybe a good little investment to pick 1 or 2 of these bad boys up to sell on later down the line. But today's all about these 3, and I've got the original as well as the Electric Kiss and also the recent Love Festival release to talk about, which all come in an eau de toilette concentration. So to find out my thoughts on these little beauties, stay tuned to this episode of Mags Frags. Yes, hello again and welcome to this latest episode of Mags Frags, where it's the fragrance that's the star of the show. My name's Paul, and today I'm going to be letting you know what I think of these Amor Amor flankers that are currently on offer on the Sephora website with a fairly hefty discount. So I picked all 3 of these 50ml sized bottles up for just over £70. And at first I thought they'd sent me the wrong bottles, and I thought they'd sent me the 30ml bottles because they do look quite small and diddy, but on closer inspection they are actually the 50ml size. And like I touched on in the intro, Cacharel perfumes that start out very reasonably priced and end up becoming very expensive once they go like discontinued. One of my favourites from this brand was a woman's scent called Gloria that smells amazing, and it used to go for around about £20 in supermarkets and in discount perfume stores. But now you can pay around £500 for a 100ml size bottle on eBay just because of how rare it's become. It's quite easy to be a little bit of a perfume snob and write off particular brands like this just because they're really reasonably priced. But I've always found Cacharel perfumes to have superb performance and more often than not smell really good too. So these are ideal for anyone on a tighter budget who wants an original fragrance rather than a clone or a copycat scent. Okay, so let's kick things off by going back to the year 2003 and where it all began for this line with the launch of the original Amor Amor. This is a big hitting fruity floral scent that opens up with tons of fruits, including blackcurrant, apricot, mandarin orange, grapefruit and bergamot. But in my opinion, it is the mandarin orange that really jumps out after the initial spray. And it starts out really fresh and juicy and uplifting, and it combines these kind of sweet and citrusy fruits with lots of clean soapy florals in the heart of the scent, including jasmine, lily, we've got rose and also lily of the valley in there also. So for the most part, you get a really fun and playful, flirty kind of perfume that smells really pretty and feminine, and it has a real summery feel to it. It is a fairly synthetic introduction that's quite loud and attention grabbing, and I'd say it's slightly better suited to a younger woman, but it is versatile enough for women of any age to wear. But as it dries down, it's sweetened up by some creamy smooth vanilla, as well as some tonka beans and a large dose of amber, which just warms it up a touch. There's also some further depth with the inclusion of cedarwood and musk, and when you put all this together you just get a really enjoyable and likeable aroma that's just really easy to wear, and it'd be perfect for like an everyday casual wear situation for the warmer months. The performance on this, just like you get in most cases with Cacharel perfumes, is super long lasting with a very strong projection, and it far outweighs any expectation you might have considering the price that you pay for it. You'll get a full day's wear out of it and it smells great. If you can look past the fact that it's now 20 years old and it's not the latest shiny new release, it's still a really lovely scent, and at £20 it's an absolute steal. Okay, so up next is a much more recent release, and this one is the Electric Kiss flanker that came out in 2019. This opens up with notes of rhubarb and pink pepper with a heart of rose and jasmine sambac. And the first thing I noticed about this was it just feels a little bit more grown up and slightly more sophisticated smelling than what I get with the original. Don't get me wrong, it's still really fruity and fairly sweet and girly, but it's got way less sparkle and fizziness to it. The original is kind of like a carbonated fruit drink, whereas I would say that this is more like a warm fruit pie aroma, and obviously a rhubarb pie, which has a touch more bitter sourness to it. The pink pepper does bring a mild hint of spice to the opening, but for me it's the rose and the rhubarb that provide the main spine of the perfume, with perhaps a hint of patchouli lurking in the base. The differences between these two are night and day when you test them on a tester strip, but on skin there's not quite as much of a difference, and both just smell really bright, fun and playful. But this is more of a cool spring day kind of scent, and one to wear in the evenings, whereas I'd say the original screams hot sunny day. This also includes the notes of jasmine sambac in the heart and also amberwood in the base. But like I say, it is the tart rhubarb and the smooth silky rose that stand out for me the most in this. However, it does become a little bit more clean and soapy in the far dry down. So you will pick up on the jasmine sambac occasionally when it's kind of totally settled down. And the fruit pie accord does fade away after about the couple of hour mark. In terms of performance, I think the original projects perhaps slightly a bit more in the first hour, with it being more of a sharp and bright effervescent scent profile. But they both last a good amount of time before you stop detecting them. But I'd say the Electric Kiss sits a little bit closer to the skin and may therefore make for a better work or office scent, because it ain't going to choke people out as much as what you get with the original. And finally, we have one that goes by the name of Love Festival, which is a 2020 release and the most recent one out of these three. And it opens with notes of Coca-Cola, grapefruit and cassis. And in the heart, we've got rose, jasmine and lily of the valley. And the base notes in this one are vanilla, musk and cedar. Yeah, so the Coca-Cola note is obviously the note that stands out on paper, but in reality it's not that prominent, and if I'd not seen the note breakdown beforehand, I probably wouldn't have guessed that it was in here. Although when you do actually know that it's included and you kind of focus on it, you can pick up a mild trace of it, but it definitely doesn't leap out at you as such. It also contains most of the same heart and base notes, so the dry down of this is very similar to the original, and some people might find it a bit redundant if you already own the original version. But the opening of this is where it differs the most, and this is more sharp, synthetic and metallic smelling than both the other two flankers for the first hour or so, and it's not quite as sweet. Again, this has a youthful playfulness to it, and it's another easy to wear versatile perfume, but it doesn't quite get to the same height of mass appeal as the first two in my opinion. And out of the three, I'd say that this is my least favourite in terms of overall aroma. But if it's any consolation, it does come in the most attractive looking bottle of the three. It's not a bad smelling perfume by any means, but it's just got a slightly more bitter and a sour edge to it, and it doesn't quite pull me in like the other two. Okay, so in summary, if I were to line up 100 people to blind test all three of these, I'd predict that the original would probably edge out the other two, but closely followed by the Electric Kiss. And for me, I don't really have a preference between these two, apart from I think the original is better in warmer weather and the Electric Kiss suits slightly cooler conditions more. Like I say, there's nothing that I dislike about the Love Festival, but just when I compare all three of these side by side, I just slightly prefer the openings of the other two. But honestly, you can't go wrong with any of these for the price that you pay. They all smell great, they perform great, and the bottles also look great, so what's there not to love about them? Okay, so that's about it for this little brief Amor Amor review, and these will be shipped off to a new grateful owner now, aka my mum. We'll probably get through all three bottles in less than a month, considering how trigger happy she is, but at least they won't go to waste. And don't forget, ladies, if you have found this content useful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and also hit the bell icon to be notified of any future uploads. I will be creating plenty more female fragrance content in the near future, because only 9% of my viewership is currently made up of women, so I do need to grow that pathetic statistic moving forwards. It's also great to hear your opinions and your thoughts and your critiques on all of the fragrances that feature in these reviews, so don't forget to let me know if you've ever owned any of these and what your thoughts are on them. So once again, thank you very much for tuning into this latest episode. Stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye bye for now.